Hello, welcome to a new episode of Croc Bites. After the last episode, I kind of did a poll to see what you guys would like to see in the next episode, and it looks like giant crocodiles is what came out on top. And secondly, there was a human-crocodile conflict mitigation management. So we'll go into that next time, and we're going to have some special guests later on. But for this episode, we're going to talk about giant crocodiles. We're going to go into myths regarding giant crocodiles. We're going to talk about the actual lengths of some of the largest crocodiles, which species grow to the largest, and a few other things. So it should be pretty interesting, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so the first species we're going to talk about is the saltwater crocodile, which is officially the largest of all crocodilians. Now, there have been a lot of exaggerated measurements when it comes to the saltwater crocodile, as large as 33 feet in length, if you can believe that. There was an unconfirmed record from a long time ago of a 33-foot, which would be 10-meter, saltwater crocodile in the Bay of Bengal, which is, of course, likely a gross over-exaggeration. There have been other records of 28-foot crocodiles, such as Chris the Croc from Normanton in Queensland, which, again, there's no evidence to show for anything regarding that croc's measurement, and a lot of other ones. So it's important to note that the 23-foot croc record from Bhitar-Kanika National Park in Orissa, India, is not confirmed. It was never confirmed. It was based on a visual observation during a survey. Now, looking at the results from some of these surveys, it seems like over-exaggeration of size is likely common. Oftentimes they'll say they've seen multiple crocodiles of over 20 feet in length, that's 6 meters in length, which is extremely unlikely. So it's very, very unlikely that that crocodile was actually 23 feet in length. So before we get into any of this, let's just make it clear what the current maximum size for a saltwater crocodile is. Okay, so there have only been 2 crocodiles confirmed measured at over 20 feet in length. The first one is, of course, Lolong, who was captured in the Agusan Marsh of the Philippines in 2011. He measured in at 20.25 feet, so a little over 6 meters in length. The second one was a saltwater crocodile that drowned in a fishing net in the Fly River of Papua New Guinea in 1980. Now, this crocodile, they didn't actually, Ron Whitaker was there, and they couldn't actually measure the crocodile's full body because it had already been skinned. So they measured the skin. The skin had already been salted, so it likely shrunk a little bit, and there was part of the tail missing. So they estimate that it was probably close to 21 feet in length. They don't know how much, but it was a very large crocodile. And that's it. Nothing else has ever been confirmed measured at 20 feet or larger. So, any other records you see are unconfirmed or anecdotal or even tall tales. That's it, just those 2 saltwater crocodiles. And there's been nothing for any other species either. So, yes, saltwater crocodiles can get to 20 feet in length. There's a skull in the Paris Museum that came from Cambodia in the 18th century. There's no other information about it, but it came from a crocodile that was killed in Cambodia in the 18th century, and the skull is 76 centimeters in length, which suggests that it's possible that it came from a crocodile that was between 22 and 23 feet in length, using size ratios that have been based on measurements done on Lolong and a few other very large crocodiles. So it's certainly possible that 23-foot crocodiles exist. Larger than that, extremely unlikely. So that's why a lot of publications list 23 feet as the maximum size for the saltwater crocodile. But again, even that is not confirmed. 20 feet, a little over 20 feet, is the confirmed maximum size. And that is extremely rare. I meet people sometimes, even I was one of them when I was very young, that come to places like Darwin and other places where there are saltwater crocodiles, hoping to see a 20-foot crocodile. And you got to break the news to them. Adam broke the news to me. The chances of seeing that is slim to none. Even seeing an 18-foot crocodile, which is 5.5 meters, is extremely rare outside of maybe a very small number of locations, such as the Adelaide River. And the only reason you can see them there is because they are fed, so they come around a lot. And there you might see there's 1 or 2 that are in that size range, maybe more, I don't know. They haven't actually measured these big guys. Like Brutus, they haven't actually measured him. Agro, they have not actually measured him, so they don't know how big they are. But estimates suggest they're in the 17 to 18-foot range, which is about 5 to 5.5 meters, basically. So they're really big crocodiles. And a sad thing that I found is people don't understand what a big crocodile is. A 14-foot crocodile is a big crocodile. That is a really big crocodile. 16.5 feet, which is what some you see in some books and in some things, they talk about the average size of a saltwater crocodile being 16.5 feet, which is bogus. That's not the average size. That is the average maximum that an adult male saltwater crocodile will grow to in its lifetime. So, and that is rarely seen in most areas. So you might see them in certain parts of Australia, and they're around, but they aren't frequently seen. So yes, 13, 14-foot crocodile, that's a really big crocodile. And people, I would hope, would respect that size and be impressed by it, because in this day and age, with everybody wants to push to the next level. So if it's not this big, it's just not simply good enough. And that's kind of unfortunate, I think. But anyways, yes, so the confirmed maximum length of saltwater crocodile, just over 20 feet. The possible maximum length is 23 feet. So let's look at a few photos of some giant saltwater crocodiles and some giant saltwater crocodile skulls. Okay, so next we're going to talk about some other species, because there are a lot of other species that get really big, not just the saltwater crocodile. None of them have been confirmed at 20 feet in length, but it's possible that they get that big. So we're going to start with the species that is commonly referred to as the second largest crocodile, although it probably isn't or may not be, and that is the Nile crocodile of sub-Saharan Africa. And the Nile crocodile is one of the most dangerous crocodiles to humans, along with the saltwater crocodile, and they're likely responsible for hundreds of human fatalities per year. They also grow very large. However, the Nile crocodile is much more heavy-bodied than other large crocodiles, including the saltwater crocodile. So estimations of size can be exaggerated due to this, especially for people who are used to seeing saltwater crocodiles. A 4-meter or 4.5-meter Nile crocodile may look like a 5-meter saltwater crocodile. So overestimation of size is common. So again, right off the bat, let's go with the largest confirmed measurement of a Nile crocodile. And the largest confirmed measurement is 18 feet. 5.5 meters. Nothing larger has ever been confirmed with reliable measurements. There have been reports of 22-foot crocodiles, and then of course you have the over-exaggerated claims in regard to Gustav as being 25 feet in length, which is bogus. That's not true. It's extremely unlikely. The photos I've seen of Gustav do not suggest he's at 20 feet or even anywhere close to it. It looks like a very large Nile crocodile in the 5-meter range, perhaps, so 16 feet, 16.5 feet, but not a 20-foot crocodile, no. And in addition, the photos of Gustav seem to show multiple different crocodiles, not just one crocodile. So whether Gustav even exists at all is in question, but we'll get into that in a future episode where we look at Gustav and the legend and everything else. But yes, Nile crocodiles have been confirmed at 18 feet in length, possibly up to 20, but it's never been confirmed. Some of the largest crocodiles ever measured were shot in Lake Chamo in Ethiopia, and some of the skulls have been measured, and they seem to indicate 18-foot Nile crocodiles. At the end of this show, I will provide a few links, and I will tell you some papers to check out, including a paper looking at giant crocodiles, and then another paper looking at lolong, and we'll talk about that at the end. But anyways, yes, Nile crocodiles do get very big, but 18 feet is the maximum confirmed size. Okay, so next let's go into some of the New World species, because a few of these species get very, very large, potentially equaling the Nile crocodile or greater than the Nile crocodile. So we're going to start off with the most well-known of the large New World crocodiles, the American crocodile, not to be confused with the American alligator. The American crocodile is found from Mexico all the way south to Venezuela and Peru. And like the saltwater crocodile, it can swim in the ocean. It has been found long distance from land. It is found in the Caribbean, and is also found in southern Florida, only southern Florida, where it exists alongside the American alligator. Now, the American crocodile can grow very large. There's no real confirmed record for a maximum size, and I'm hoping that's something that will change soon. There's some stuff going on that I can't really talk about right now, but hopefully that will change soon. But evidence suggests that they could get to 20 feet in length, 6 meters. It's possible. The largest confirmed measurements, I don't know. There's not a lot of information on that. I personally measured a 15-foot American crocodile in Mexico. And it was not the largest of the crocodiles in that area. This is in a part of Jalisco, Mexico, where there are a lot of really big crocodiles. Again, like the Adelaide River in Australia, this is an area where people feed them. So a lot of the really big crocodiles come right up close, so they're easy to see and potentially easy to measure. Interestingly enough, the biggest crocodile in that whole area does not come to be fed. He likes to hang out in the backwaters away from people. And I had never seen him until July of 2020. Me and a few of my friends in Mexico, Armando Rubio and Luis Angel, two of my good friends down there, we encountered this crocodile in the swamp there. We saw him basking at night, and we were just shocked by his size. He wasn't as bulky as some of the other crocs in the estuary, but he was way longer. I mean, his length was just, it was astounding. And we estimated that he was around 5 meters in length, maybe a little bit bigger, so approaching 17 feet in length, possibly. So, you know, with an estimation, we typically underestimate. Somebody else might have called that a 20-foot crocodile. But still, we don't know without actually catching it and measuring it. But it's definitely big. American crocodiles get really big, and they are likely the largest of the New World crocodilians. Another species that we'll talk about next can possibly be the same size, or maybe, you know, even more. We don't know. But American crocodiles are definitely near the top of New World species and near the top for all species in general. So we'll get into another species now, the Orinoco crocodile. Now, the Orinoco crocodile is believed to be very closely related to the American crocodile and likely grows to similar sizes. They're extremely endangered now. They're critically endangered, and they're currently restricted to an area called the Llanos in Venezuela and some other portions in neighboring Colombia, and that's it. So very restricted range. So there's not a lot known in regards to their maximum size. There are some individuals in the 5 meter range, according to some of my friends who work with the species. So they definitely get to at least 5 meters, probably more. So it's definitely possible that they reach 20 feet in length. There are some historical records, unconfirmed, of 22-foot Orinoco crocodiles. But again, these are not confirmed. So there's no way to know what they based that on or if they were, you know, measured reliably. But the Orinoco crocodile can definitely get large, likely similar sizes to the American crocodile. And both species can be potentially dangerous to humans. Fatal attacks are rare, especially with the Orinoco crocodile. Maybe not historically, but now attacks are virtually unheard of. The American crocodile attacks happen. They're not uncommon, but fatal attacks are rare. They do happen, but they're not common. You know, a few occur every year. You know, and compared to saltwater crocodile, Nile crocodile, it's very low. They're fourth in terms of the number of attacks worldwide. But there's a massive drop-off between 3 and 4. The third is the mugger crocodile. But anyways, that's for another podcast. So yes, those two are probably near the top of New World crocodilians. But that's not all. There are a few other very large species in the New World. The black caiman is another very large species. And it's interesting because they're an alligatorid. They're in the alligator family. So but they're the largest member of the alligator family. And I have not seen much evidence of animals over 4.5 meters, 4 meters, but there exists an absolutely massive skull that could have come from a 5.5 or 18-foot meter black caiman. So that skull alone puts the black caiman, you know, up in the top with the big boys. Not as big as the other true crocodiles that are really big, but still very large. An 18-foot caiman is massive. If that could be confirmed, if that skull and the ratio is correct, that would be massive and far larger than the largest confirmed American alligator. And the black caiman is found mostly in the Amazon basin in Brazil, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, and Guyana, and a few other areas. They're relatively common now. They used to be critically endangered, but now there are millions of them. Caimans seem to rebound very quickly with conservation efforts, unlike some of the larger crocodile species, because they're just naturally high density, and yeah, you see a lot more of them. So who knows? Maybe we'll see much more of them in the coming years. Giants, you know, actually measured in the Amazon. Next, we'll go into the other large alligator species, the American alligator. The American alligator can grow to a maximum of 15 feet. That's what we know now. Recently, the one was killed in Alabama, and it was confirmed to be 15 feet in length. Before that, the maximum was believed to be 14.5 feet, so it's increased. But it's very unlikely they get much larger than that. You know, I think the likelihood of there existing a 16-foot alligator is pretty low. Never say never, but it's pretty unlikely given the species is almost completely recolonized its historic range. I mean, we're even seeing alligators in Tennessee now. So they've rebounded completely. If we're going to see giants, we're going to see them, you know. So, but keep in mind, a large alligator is a 10-foot alligator. A 10-foot alligator is massive, okay? Because they don't grow as big as some of the larger crocodiles. So a 13-foot alligator is absolutely giant. Now, it's important for me to mention a record from a long time ago in Louisiana of a 19-foot American alligator. This record has no evidence to back it up. The man who claimed the record was known for telling tall tales, and he claims to have measured it with the butt of his rifle. So, of course, all of this means it is extremely unlikely, especially given what we know about alligator growth nowadays and, total size, rebounding population, everything else. It's extremely unlikely that an American alligator can get to even close to 19 feet. Even 16 or 17 feet is extremely unlikely. That being said, they're still a large crocodilian compared to many other species. They do grow large, but just not to the massive lengths of some of these true crocodiles or even the black caiman. Okay, so next we're going to talk about some of the slender-snouted species, because surprisingly, some of these species are the biggest of crocodilians, and they could be larger than even the saltwater crocodile, but we don't have actual confirmed data to back that up. First, we're going to start with the Indian gharial, which many people know can grow very large. I've seen confirmed records of animals in the 17.5-foot range along the what is the name of the river? The Chambal River in India. So they grow very, very large. And despite their size, they don't represent much of a threat, if any threat at all, to humans, because even at larger sizes, the gharial snout remains very skinny. It doesn't get real bulky at the base like the other slender-snouted giant crocodile species we're going to talk about next. But the gharial is not dangerous even at large sizes. It could bite, but it's not going to kill people. But they do get potentially up to 20 feet, possibly even larger. They're a very large species. Now, keep in mind that since their head is a lot longer, that adds a lot more to the length. And it also means that the head to body length ratio is going to be very different than a true crocodile, and even more different than a caiman or an alligator. So yes, the gharial can get very large. The largest skulls on record are not quite as big, though, as the next species, the Temistoma, also known as the false or Malayan gharial. I don't like the name false gharial because to me, it doesn't seem to accurately describe the species. To me, a Temistoma looks more like a giant Australian freshwater crocodile, despite having completely different ecology and behavior. The physical looks like an Australian freshwater crocodile, or maybe a African slender-snouted crocodile. But anyways, the Temistoma can grow absolutely massive. And the largest crocodilian skull on record for any species, broad-snouted or otherwise, is from a Temistoma. It was very large. They can potentially get to 20 feet in length, or possibly even more. They could rival the saltwater crocodile in terms of size, but we don't know for sure yet. There's a lot of photos and videos of Temistomas being captured have been posted online, especially from Indonesia, and that is both troubling and also a little bit encouraging, because, well, one, it means that there are still a lot of large Temistoma around, but two, it means they're being captured a lot, and I don't know how many of those captures are actually released. I think a lot of them are. Thankfully, because there's a lot of really great people working in Indonesia on Temistomas, but I'm not sure how often they are actually handed to the authorities. But anyways, I've seen some photos of crocodiles or Temistomas that look to be in the 18-foot, 5.5-meter range. But again, without measuring it, we can't know for sure. One was killed along the Batanghari River in 2019. I believe it was, or was it 2018? It was 2018 or 2019. A very large Temistoma was killed. And it looked to be in the 5-meter range, maybe 5.5 meter. Very large animal. It was killed because they believed it had preyed upon multiple people along the river. And this is another thing. Temistomas can potentially be dangerous to humans. It's rare, very rare, and it usually appears to have something to do with some sort of anthropogenic factor causing it. Either, feeding them, or prey reduction, natural prey reduction, pollution, something is causing Temistomas to behave differently in these areas. And we'll go into that in a future episode when we look at human-crocodile conflict. But yes, they can grow very large and potentially even rivaling the saltwater crocodile. So yes, those two slender-snouted species, some of the largest crocodilians there are. And that's really it. There aren't a lot of other really big crocodilian species. The mugger crocodile can get maybe up to 5 meters. I doubt it. Maybe almost 5 meters. 16 foot, I think, is the largest that's been claimed. I think the largest confirmed is smaller than that. I've seen 4 meter, 13 foot mugger crocodiles. So they don't get into that giant size class, but they are bulky. So, and they also prey on mammals, so they are dangerous to humans, which makes them the third most dangerous of the crocodilians worldwide. But yes, what else would there be in terms of large crocodilians? The African slender-snouted crocodile doesn't get quite as big, maybe 4 meters. But yeah, so those are the giant crocodilians. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this episode. We're going to have more coming up soon, and we're going to have some guests. We have a guest coming in at the end of April. It's kind of a surprise guest. I'll talk to her and see if she wants to announce it or not. So that's coming in late April. We might do another one between now and then. I'm not sure. Of course, as usual, check Croc Bite and the Croc Bite Twitter, Croc Bite Facebook, Croc Bite Instagram for all things crocodilian related, especially human-crocodile conflict. We're going to have Adam Britton on here at some point. We're going to keep doing the podcast, of course, the Croclog podcast. But I wanted to really point out, if you want to read more about giant crocodiles, the best 2 papers that I can think of are Who's the Biggest, Who's Got the Biggest, by Whitaker and Whitaker, Rom Whitaker and Nick Whitaker. And they look at skull size and records of giant crocodiles worldwide, and that's where a lot of these records I talked about came from. Saltwater crocodiles, Nile crocodiles, they look at all of them. And then another paper is Here Be a Dragon, which is by Rom Whitaker and Adam Britton, looking at Lolong and looking at his head length to body length ratio, basically, and comparing it to some other crocodiles. So, and there's more coming. We're working on a project right now that I can't say a lot about. I don't know if it's going to actually be successful because I'm running into a few roadblocks politically and in some other ways. But anyways, hopefully it'll all work out. And I hope to see you next time. Thank you.